but he knows best. So Alexis, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi everyone, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to optimize your casino and sports betting operations using gamification and other hopefully very good techniques. I'll let everyone here introduce yourselves. Can we start off by that?
Hey guys, so I'm Lasha, I represent Atlas Live. We are a B2B platform provider. So yeah, I'm the CPO there.
Hi everyone. You hear my voice? Hi everyone, I'm Irakli, the CEO and the founder at Gamified, and we do AI-driven gamification suite specially designed for iGaming and the sports industries.
Hello, my name is Stan Stanisław. I'm from Betafan. I'm the head of the CRM team over there. So yeah, we're a sportsbook operator. So yeah, that's me.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom. I'm the founder and CEO of Saturday. Yeah, we are another gamified gamification company.
Thanks everyone. So we have a lot of gamification experts on the panel. We have operators and platform builders as well. So hopefully we get some good knowledge from these guys. But let's jump into the current landscape. What is it that is the most important things the most biggest hurdles for operators today? Maybe Stan, you can start off from an operator perspective.
I think that the biggest hurdle right now is, at least in Poland, a very, very difficult and aggressive market. So that's one thing, because most of the players have a wallet or an account in almost every sportsbook provider. So my belief is that when you think from a user, from a player perspective, they treat all the landscape of the available providers or operators as kind of one product. So you're kind of competing with the time and the wallet share. So people, and it's a biased market. So once you have a bad experience, you drop one place and try to find your luck in another one. So your retention strategy heavily relies on a very difficult thing, which is a very quick assessment. When is the churn factor, and then you have almost no options to bring that person back because they try to find it somewhere else. So you're in a waiting period. Okay, let this guy have a bad experience somewhere else and come back to you then. So yeah, I think that the very, very similar products are a very, very big hurdle and difficulty right now.
Yeah, I mean, when we're looking at Germany, for example, right now, in order to acquire an FTD, a first-time depositor, German companies are willing to spend anywhere between 80 to 140 euro, which is insane because we don't know the LTV at this point, right? One of the market leaders in Germany had the goal to acquire 120,000 FTDs via the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, and I honestly don't know if I do the math backwards if that actually paid out for them. So I fully agree. We created a very unsustainable industry for ourselves. On the one hand, we have rising CPAs. We are competing for the same media portals. The affiliates are always getting their money, and then us operators, we have the problem of actually figuring out if that $300 to $600, in certain regions actually makes sense to pay that. And on the other hand, we have a churn rate of up to 80% on the second non-incentivized deposit, right? So I guess this is the reason why Alexis, Irakli, and myself, we all founded different gamification companies, because we want to combat that problem that when an operator spends so much money on branding, so much money to promote their amazing customer support, etc., that the customers are actually staying on one platform in order to increase the LTV. And I think this is one of the biggest problems right now.
Great. And as you mentioned, we've seen, especially when new markets start opening up, there's a lot of operators that spend a lot of money on acquisition. And then after a while, people start recognizing we need to spend a lot more money on retention to keep the players coming back. So what are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing now on this side, Lasha?
I can tell you from the platform's perspective, first the channel, right? So the The challenge is that all of the gamifications right now are basically similar to each other, so it's kind of difficult to differentiate. So for the operators, it makes much sense to find a unique niche and be super creative and have the necessary tools in place to differentiate, because as an end user, you log into a website and you have your loyalty, you have your badges, etc. And you need to find a unique niche, you need to be creative and, let's say, apply gamification in the right way to be successful. That's the thing.
Miracle, what's your thought?
I'm going to add that generally I believe that today the industry is calling gamification totally different thing, and at the end of the day it's totally different, because the deposit bonus or welcome bonus is not gamification, so it's some kind of, I would say, new trend and new direction where the worldwide industry leaders need to understand more deeply. Of course, there are some brands, some companies, and as we all do, some solutions, but it's right today it's a very little share. That's one. The secondly, as Stan has mentioned, or the competition on different kind of markets is really high, and at the end of the day, the product offerings are the same, right? As you go in the supermarket, the products are the same on the shelf. So it's very crucial either on major markets or either newly open markets when the many brands are entering into high competition to have in advanced, let's say, strategic loyalty, the vision for the long term. Because when you're entering the market and spending too much budget on marketing, branding, etc., you can gain the very short term, the win, but afterwards you see, as you were mentioning, the 80% churn, right? So that's very important that from the beginning, the brands and operators should think of the long-term engagement of the customers. You can give away the 100%, the cashback to the customer, but it could gain you the very short-term effect. So so in general, I think that everyone should consult on the proper way to the experts in the industry and step by step improve and understand what really customers need, because on different kind of markets people and the players are different, because in Poland maybe the achievements could be the best option, in Germany leaderboards, and in Asia maybe the avatar thing could work very cool. So thanks.
You need to tailor it for the markets, but in each market, will all players like the same thing, or are there different types of players that might be more entailed? I mean, you're talking about making sure that you're staying taking your niche and offering the same kind of players and then keeping them that way.
So let's say sweepstakes, right? So sweepstakes are super trendy right now and popular in the US especially. But it may not work somewhere else. So Irakli is right. You have to make, let's say, smart decision when to apply gamification and where to apply it. And as he said, for some segment of the users it may be achievements, badges, but there's a base maybe in everywhere that, for example, loyalty is needed, right? It's like a base of gamification. And you also need to think about where in the user journey to apply gamification. It's in the registration, should it be in deposit, withdrawal, etc. You need to look at the data, analyze it, plan it accordingly, and then apply it to your user journey.
Okay, and we see now more and more regulators, Portugal being one of the key ones, being removing bonus options for players. Sweden has, since it was in its own regulation, removed it from the first deposit. After that, you can't give any more bonuses. So, is it required to use bonus money, or let's say financial incentives, in gamification?
I guess I can take it. It's a yes and no answer. I don't think bonuses have much effect on loyalization, because they, as you rightly said, it's a very short-term effect. In gamification, again, thinking of a bonus in gamification is also looking at a very, very, very minuscule part of it, because let's say an achievement, yeah, do 5 deposits, yeah, boom, like an award. So it's not. Bonuses are your way, actually, I think, born out of competition. You just need to give more than the others are giving, and it's just a way to get people in. It's our version of a discount at a shop. So I don't think bonuses are required in gamification. I think the best gamification actually does not involve incentivization, because this is essentially a way for you to adjust your product in itself to give the fun out of the whole experience of using it, and then, but yeah, you get the bonus at the end. It just deletes the whole purpose, because you immediately shorten the thought process of the player. Okay, so these are the things I need to do to get the bonus, instead of I'm having fun doing them. So I would say no, bonuses are not required, but again, you need to look at the whole market, because if you'll be the only one that does not offer bonuses, you're,
losing customers.
Yeah.
I can add one thing there. You're right. One example I can say from completely different industries, Duolingo. Basically, there's a feature, or there was a feature, where the candle is burning, and it will stop burning if you don't log in again. So it kind of incentivizes you to come back and do some actions, and there's no bonus right there, right? So there's no incentive, bonus, real-mind incentive, but it kind of pushes you, and it's a really great example of gamification. So in short, it can be done without bonuses, without real-mind incentive.
I don't know who of you are using the app Duolingo, just to learn something. Yeah, over there. They implemented this streak bonus, right? So you have to log in every 24 hours just to see one number tick up. And I think this is the most basic form of gamification. You want to feel a sense of progression, but basically doing nothing, right?
I mean, it's the endowed progress effect. It's a very deeply rooted sociological effect that we have.
Absolutely. So you want to see something that is growing without putting too much effort into it, but it's working for them. I mean, I've used Duolingo in the past, and I logged in every day. I used all of my free streaks up, so in case I had to go on vacation, etc. But it's exactly what you talked about. I mean, in this industry, we educate our users, we condition them to always look for bonus money, At the end of the day, it's our own fault, because we are all offering the same product. The 150 on Warsaw and at P65 is just as good as the 150 at Interwetten, for example, And if this is exactly this kind of rat race that I was talking about. There's only so much bonus money, depending obviously on the rollover condition, that we can actually give out before it becomes absolutely unsustainable for us. So, I mean, we have to change something.
Yeah, that brings us into how do you use gamification to make sure that you avoid creating too much of a risk, both for the operator, like giving too much bonus money, but also for the player, getting them too addicted to coming back, let's say, or responsible gaming, basically.
I would say so the first thing is that you gotta have the other tools in place as a platform, right? So self-exclusion limits, etc., reality check, features like that, to make sure that gamification is not overused. And there's no magic way to say that, hey, you should do this. You have to test it out, see how it works, look at the results, and try again. And and go again. That's the thing. That's the only thing.
Stan, you have some thoughts?
Well, it's as you said, like, look at the data. I think most of the features, most of the things that we're working on in execution are extremely boring, because let's find, because we work in an excitement industry, in fun industry. So let's find something that will be, yes, this is the thing that we need to do to get people involved. But from our side, from operator side, provider side, This actually involves looking at stacks, silos of real data, comparisons, A/B tests, bandit tests, viewing the website performance, watching the recordings. It's extremely difficult to actually find the right answer, because out of every 10 ideas, 9 are just straight to the bin. When we would be thinking like, what is the best, what tools should we use? We should use the tool of having good hires, good strategy, good lookout, and then the tools will come to us because we will have done our groundwork to go. So yeah, look at the data, and it's the most boring answer, but I think that the most true one is just see what works and try and learn.
Can I tell you what happens when you don't look at the data? So I was working for an esports betting company. You know, the logo resembled a horse with a horn, and we created this free-to-play sports betting webpage, and users could receive unicoins, right, which was a soft currency. They received that for logging in on a daily basis, and we had over 40,000 users on that webpage who were actively playing and betting, and there was also like this spin wheel where users could every 24 hours click on that wheel, spin it. They could receive soft currency, but mostly the guys were spinning it in order to receive Counter-Strike skins, which is the pre-form of an NFT. And one day we decided, without looking at the data, of course, the product team said, all right, let's bench the spin wheel because, that real estate we can use for something else. So engagement rate just dropped by, nearly 50%. So it looked like, the people were coming to this gamified sportsbook to spin the wheel and win those skins instead of using the soft currency to bet. But the even worse part of that is, so again, 40,000 people using this platform globally, and at that company we only offered esports betting. Who thinks that after we made them all an offer to actually start betting with real money with us, who thinks that we converted more than 5% of those users? Thank you for believing into us. It was 0. We got 0 customers out of that, because we conditioned them on using the free product. It's free, exactly, And at the same time, this is the reason why social sportsbook don't work as well as social casino. The dopamine hit is just too slow, right? You have to wait for 90 minutes for a League of Legends game to be over, and it's just boring as something, So that's the fail story. So don't do that, please.
I remember you talked about collection, getting the skins and collecting things. A lot of humanity has always been collecting things, and I remember a story about there was a developer at Blizzard who said that when they released the first horse that you could buy for €1 or something in World of Warcraft, that horse made Blizzard more money than all of StarCraft 2, all the sales of the previous biggest game they had. And one day, one guy came up with, why don't we sell horses?
Collecting stuff is a powerful thing. I mean, it's a different industry. I previously worked in display. I don't know if you're familiar. It's posters of metal, a lot of licensed stuff. But how often do you purchase something to hang on your wall? I mean, okay, if you're crazy, it's once every 2-3 months. So we've released something called a limited edition. It was every week a release of a limited amount of prints with additional techniques. And we had people who went crazy for that. They opened a Discord channel when they were trying to data mine our website to find what's the next product. So if you can create a product that's wanted, that's limited, that has artificial limitations in it, as I said, with collecting skins, the sole fact that you get the dopamine hit of having something that no one else can have or that it's limited, it's extremely, powerful thing.
Did they have any resale value then?
Oh God, we were selling them for $139. The most expensive eBay auction was at $2,500.
Nice.
But that's a little bit like the whole idea behind Supreme. Right? They even managed to sell a brick for $1,000, I believe.
depends the type of the customers and the players, right? Not everyone is like motivated to collect something or there's some, I don't know, Gen Z or different kind of age segments, because also that we were talking about that the type of players, not every sort of gamified solution is for everyone. So because for me the collectibles, I'm not very engaged.
Me as well. I just sold them.
Definitely, and then it's a one thing as well, you need to make sure that you're able to actually, users are able to show off the things that they have collected for other people that are also interested in collecting, right? So, but moving on to other things we can do for gamification and things we can add to our different sites. So, how do we use data to be able to measure and see if it affects the job? What kind of KPIs do you focus on? Anyone?
Well, the short answer is all the data I can get. The longer one is each decision should have an end goal. I mean, most of our roles is to increase the value of the company we work for. Right? That's what we do. But each decision needs to have. I mean, we are using this kind of gamification to, let's say, as the streaks in Duolingo, to increase day-to-day activity, to increase the amount of interactions, to work on this and that progress thing. So then we should look at, the website activity, the choices, the recordings, but then, then you need to dig deeper into, let's say, what actually in Google, Google Analytics, which data is relevant. I mean, time spent on a website, it's a useless thing, because each tab opened just launches up to 30 minutes, and that's what. But then you have product-specific things. You want people to press on this particular action, say, compared to the other action. So you actually face your players, users, with intentional hurdles, because you want not only to increase something, increase a number, you want to get a decision, because each of your actions should be a test. So let's say you look at activity, I mean, you actually look at everything, because you have your product, campaign, decision specific data, but then you have global influence on that data, and then you have a workshop with your customer value team, and then you're hiring website analytics, and then you're launching on-site web testing solution, then you offer different views, then you do banded tests. It's a very difficult question to answer, because each particular scenario has an extremely different conditions to work for.
Yeah, but generally we can split in two directions. So first, how generally the gamified solutions are used. I mean, let's say if you're making the achievements or whatever it is, how users are engaged for each and every touch point in terms of the gamified solution. And secondly, on the product side, what users were doing before the promotions, during the promotion, and after the promotion, and what could be the net increase the value in different kind of KPIs after these gamified solutions you were implementing has gathered to the companies. Right? So
yeah, sure, and especially say in the sportsbook market, you also need to look at the actual context of the data. We might have Euros, Champions League, or a season with no sports. So you could run the same tests for the same thing at two different moments, and one would show extremely good results, the other would say, yeah, we just wasted money. So yeah, data is key, and it's
And depending also the goal what the company has, because we've seen in our experience where, let's say you have in casino part, like any kind of provider integrated, and if you push each one of the provider for a short period of time, the net increase of the using of this product was even like the 150%. We were doing nothing, it was just on the shelf, the game, but after you gave a little incentive, the net using of that kind of products has increased up to like 150%, like the nature related left level. So, yeah.
I think it's about forming habits habits for your users, right? You want those users, they wake up in the morning, they go to the sportsbook, they go to the casino, they are checking out the offers that you are making them, they are using a potential gamification solution, but all of these soft KPIs, like active on-site duration, right, or the hard KPIs, hey, this customer actually deposited money and it helped my P&L. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that the users are thinking about the sportsbook or the casino. We are conditioning them. We want that they are thinking about it every 3 hours. I can grab something for free. That is just, a virtual incentive. I need to go back to the platform, because anytime they go back to the sportsbook, it's like in a supermarket, right? Only then they can actually have the opportunities to spend money with them. So this is really important.
Yeah, I can expect that you to call EVAs from the hooked model, when you actually have like trigger action, variable rewards, investment, and you actually forming habits. Because that's actually what we're looking with gamification. We want to create a habit of a customer to find something internal or external that moves them to go to your website, and then work on that habit, see how he interacts, find interval in between, because there's no perfect solution for all your target group, for all your customers. There'll be different groups. So it's data, and so on.
Yeah, the data and this data gives you like ability to run as deep personalized your offerings are for different kind of group of segments. As like the successful and the more engagement you have, because if me and you are different kind of players and we have the same kind of offering, it can be not very engaged, right? So we need to understand on like very deep level the type of the customers and give them incentives based on their behavior. So the personalization is like very crucial in the gamification also, and not only generally in our industry, but when you do even some excitement and game like offerings. So it's important to have really like players should understand, okay, this is really for me and I need to be interactive with that.
I would add one thing. So there are some data, some KPIs which you can measure, and I agree that average time spent on your website, etc. They might not make any sense, but you should understand. The question is, why are you using gamification? For what purpose, right? So if you want a user to make first deposit or second deposit, or to register less than 1 minute, or do some other things, if that's your goal, you should measure exactly that goal. Exactly the thing, that KPI. There are some things you cannot measure. For example, we are now talking about Duolingo, and that's popular. So we now know that the gamification technique that they use is basically making the company more popular. So that's something that we can't measure right now. So at the end of the day, it's how much the user likes your product and how much the gamification increases, let's say, popularity of your product and this type of stuff.
You might just go and try to create an artificial KPI that's only for you. Yeah. We're thinking, let's say, when you're looking, go like for a very short segue. If you think about Sportsbook calendar, it's something that affects the possibilities you can make. I mean, it's bad games, good games, and so on. So you have a similar promo that runs all the time. But a result of, let's say, 100,000 on a good game day and 100,000 on a bad game day is not the same amount of money, because one is lost potential and the other is a pretty good day. So you might have tried to create something that, let's say, gives points as a machine learning system to particular events and gives you a normalization factor. You might try to create something like a quality or engagement factor based on your artificially perceived view of how many lost or won bets in a row are a good or bad experience. So again, it's something that it's not an advice, but you should really go in and try to ask yourself, what is the key thing you try to measure? Because we're usually looking at short and long retention, revenue, but there's hundreds of things that will be specific just for your use case.
I mean, it would help if the gamification would drive the traffic on a Monday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of data. We're talking about top of mind with players. Players are not going to make a deposit every day, most likely, but if they can come back to your site, if they come back and even if they have something to talk about with their friends, if you create that top of mind. I mean, we said Duolingo, obviously there are other they say language learning tools, but everyone nowadays just talk about Duolingo. They really created that idea that players or their users want to keep talking about their brand rather than other brands. So that's why they've gained so many users and learning different languages all over the world. So is there a possibility when you use too much data that you get data overload, that you're getting too much data into your system and you're trying to sift through all this data and suddenly you're finding patterns where there might not be patterns? Stan, maybe?
It's a yes and no thing. I mean, one of the difficulties in having a lot of data and measuring everything is at some point you have your data in silos. So you have a separate place where you have data for your website interactions, you have your business data, you have your customer data, you have your app interaction data, and you might not find the correct link between those places. I won't talk about relation data tables, etc. So yeah, it might be too much, but on the other hand, this too much squeezes into just enough with your investment into data science teams that you have. So, but if you look only at raw numbers and interactions without adding context, you again will lose or get false positives or false negatives. So it's a yes or no depending on how you approach it and your data team or data solutions team approach to how to measure it. So yeah, yes and no, it depends.
Okay, so at least we live in a time when data is readily available, real-time available. Even 5 or 10 years back, there was very few operators that could give their data science teams very quick access to real-time data. When it comes to machine learning and AI, do you guys use any of these in your tools to be able to sift to help data science team to sift through this data? And Tom or Irati?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, our product use the operational level to build and run everything, and secondly to gather all this data and to give based on historic data what kind of future configuration or activities can be done. And also I believe that not today more operators I believe are using these kind of approaches and because of this ML the models and the AI and all of this passes the process and you can collect different kind of data and compare it and get some outcome. It gives, of course, it can give you some good insights, but also it can give you some not proper designs. Not proper the outcomes, which can drive you not the very best decisions. So it should be the very accurately used on daily operations, on product-wise, etc. But generally, I will add a little bit for the previous question. So on a very high level, especially from the operator side, you have the very the high level KPIs, right? So if your retention rates are increasing or stabilized, then these kind of things are working. If the acquisition is increasing or if it's your strategy, then these kind of things are working. And also based on your the product and business strategies, if this kind of little, pushing to drive more revenues are giving you the additional benefit, then you are on the right way. But still, it's depending on the activities what you do, in the products what you do, and the markets on which you are operating.
Yeah, I mean, in these days and times, I almost feel like a rebel when I say that the current solution from Savage Tech, we don't have AI in it, because so far we did not need it, right? So, I mean, at Savage Tech, we give a user an avatar, right? And this avatar, then anytime the user does something that is good for the operator, as in placing a bet or using the casino, that this avatar is actually fighting against monsters. So we basically put World of Warcraft on top of a sportsbook or a casino, and so far we have not encountered the problem or a problem that we had to fix with some sort of AI. During the fundraising process, obviously, I wish, I could have thrown AI somewhere into the mix, because it seems like, everyone just wants to read that. 2 years ago, I would have said blockchain, but no, the answer to that is so far no.
I mean, as long as you see, let's say, Samsung's, recent products, everything has an AI. There's an AI fridge and everything, but we fail to understand what actually is the definition of AI, because for most of us it's ChatGPT, which is just a large language model. It's not even per se AI. I think but machine learning, random forest algorithm doesn't sell that well, does it?
I mean, I don't want to dress our decision tree as AI,
Again, it's not AI, it's an algorithm, it's a point-based system that rewards your algorithm by doing certain decisions. But again, AI sounds better.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah, definitely a lot of AI nowadays is just machine learning hiding behind something artificial. Lasha, you want to say?
Yeah. So I can add from the platform side, companies like Heracles, Promofide, guys are using AI and machine learning, let's say, to create the product itself, right? The gamification product. So how we might use, not AI, but let's say big data, right? We can feed it to the system so that the system decides when to use the gamification, on whom, how to segment the users, basically when to deliver gamification to whom. That's the challenge, and we can use the products, use the data, and deliver the, let's say, most suitable product to the most suitable guys. That's basically the use that we have right now, so yeah.
But at the same time, the operator and the platform provider should be ready to do so. It's not only one part having some solutions, and the other part where you're integrating have just Excel-based data. So it's very important that it's very early stage. Let's agree on it, right? So it's just a new beginning of something artificial, I would say. So let's see how it goes.
It reminds me a little bit of this token craze, with blockchain, where there were a gazillion tokens being released into the ecosystem, and everyone said, oh yeah, this is a utility token, and we can do this and that. And at the end of the day, not a real problem was being solved with it, except the problem of greed from the creators of that coin, right?
And the creators have like 95% of the stock of the token. All disappeared.
Obviously, and it's vaulted and it can never be released into the public. Yeah, we all saw that wasn't really the case. So AI definitely has a lot of applications, but it has to make sense. It really has to solve a problem, and if not, then we just use ChatGPT and say, yeah, we use that in order to write the infographics on our website. Oh yeah, we're AI based.
Yeah, at some point all, say, ESPs or email providers offer their own version of an AI, which is, help you write your newsletter. But let's say they offer it only in English, and let's say we work in Europe on multiple markets in English. Okay, we speak in English right now, but that's not the solution. So yeah, it's but what you said, like, you need to find a particular purpose or reason to utilize AI. I mean, it's as if there was a craze, a while ago with automating your marketing, actions. But then you just do automation for the sake of automation to have it automated. It's like a goal that it's on itself the goal, so it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, as you mentioned, content generation is what AI stands out at right now. That's actually delivering really well, especially support agents that can actually take a lot of things away coordinated just before the player actually needs to talk to a human being that can actually help out. And you talked about personalization, Slasha. How can we make sure that we utilize these tools that we now have available to the different kind of player types or size of players or these kind of areas?
Yeah, so the first thing is to know your customer, right? So how do you know your customer? You should collect as much data as possible, and you should be smart about it. You should make smarter decisions based on the data. And let's say, for example, in Sportsbook or esports, right? You can, there are maybe popular features like next best bet. So the system is looking at the data, analyzes it, and in a real time you can offer what would be the next best bet for a user. For example, another example would be the whole customer journey, basically, where to drive the user based on their preferences, based on their age, demographic, etc. So I would say the whole thing can be used in different ways.
Yeah, definitely can. And then you collect the data, but then, let's say, with what you offer to collect data for, you need to also treat it as an experiment or as a task. So you want intentionally to offer not, this is your best choice, let's say these are your two best choices, because therefore you have a point like +1+1 system that gives you additional layer of data. Because if you just offer and incentivize one next best solution, you'll get the false positive, okay, that this is the best thing to do. But if you offer 2, 3 best solutions, then you have, like a decision system. So, to decide when to use and what to offer personalization needs to stem from your need to not only find the next best thing, but to find the next best things with an S at the end. So it will be different.
I mean, it's difficult if you have a customer who is only placing bets on football, for example, to actually cross-sell him into anything else, right? But as a sportsbook, you need to manage your liquidity, you need to manage your risk. And if I, as a sportsbook, would have the possibility to offer markets where you can only bet on one side in order to solve one-sided liquidity issues, and we're incentivizing those multiple best choices, place a bet on archery during Olympia or place a bet on cricket in markets where I'm basically now betting against my customers, that already would help a ton, right?
Yeah, but also you can collect not manually, but automatically somehow the data, let's say, which are your best teams, etc. And according to that, it's showing in the sportsbook that, okay, so here's your next next game, which is the best team, and it gives you more the incentive to give motivation to bet. And on that side, the player side, they see that, okay, if I'm a fan of the Real Madrid and I see the very first place the Real Madrid next game, it gives me the perception at least that okay, there's something for me happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Like very basic one.
You feel welcome as a player, right? Because you're not hitting the main page and there's just a gazillion different markets being offered for you or at you, but you rather feel like, okay, someone is curating that content for me, at least to a certain extent.
It's like we were reaching, it will be a buzzword, the Netflix way of offering things, but which is a pretty basic thing, but they do it great.
Yeah, but I can't ever choose.
Me as well.
You're just scrolling. And
but I understand the purpose of doing that. I mean, you have particular markets, particular games, micro markets, etc. And if you wire it into your, let's say, For You page, as in TikTok, you just can curate it in a. It's not even to offer the players something that they will bet on, but your first experience landing on a page is they know me. And right now, in it's CRM is like to be a bit creepy, but not too creepy with collection of the data. But it's, because right now you only accept cookies, yes, accept tracking data, accept. So if you agreed to all of it, then I want to be offered something I'm interested in. If I'm not, then what do you need my data for?
too hot to handle season 5.
Yeah, that's what we see now, right? For Google, it will come out that they're still tracking you, even if you turned off the tracking data, they're still tracking you. Even if you pulled out the battery, they're still tracking you. So make sure that you actually use the data that you ask the players that you're going to get from them, otherwise it's a little bit overkill, right? But it's the same thing in casino. We see players, they often go back to the same kind of games. Even in Netflix, then they will go back to watching The Office for the 50th time, or even if you put the things in front of them, maybe sometime they will try the thing that you put in front of them, but often they go back to the things they already like. So how, for VIPs, do you make sure that you can use all your tools to push them to enjoy the things they already enjoy more? You reckon?
For the VIPs, you mean?
Yeah, focus on VIPs. They deliver a lot of money for everyone, so we want to keep them happy.
So it's a totally different dimension, I would say, because and it's all about analyzing what which games do they play, and what kind of the cashbacks and the long-term cashbacks they're getting. Because from my, especially the operator's perspective, we've been doing like different type of long-term loyalty programs for the VIPs in order to keep them playing with the brand, and at the same time give very the basic gamification, because the VIP players are not very happy with the big gamification stuff. You agree with me, right? So they are more concentrated to bet, win, and to prolong the process. So in that case, I believe there should be more basic smart decisions be made, comparing to, let's say, the regular players or the small players who are more happy to be engaged in different kind of game style experiences than the VIPs.
I agree. So it's basically the same challenge, right? So what to offer to whom? It might be the VIPs, and in terms of VIP, let's say players from high rollers, right? Those guys might not be happy with the over gamification of the process. So I agree. They might want to deposit, open a game, play a game, win or lose, and withdraw, right? So yeah, it's a smart decision that you make based on a segment. VIP is just another segment of the users.
I guess we all agree, because in my personal belief and experience, VIP more rather require a concierge personal approach, and if you push too much gamifications or overly aggressive incentivizations, you might lose that edge you had, which was your initial hey John, welcome to our VIP program, this is your personal assistant. That's what you're giving them, because they're paying so much money, and gamification is our way to give something for free to upgrade that experience. VIPs don't need things for free in that sense. They have completely different methods of approaching them. But I believe they will. There is maybe a hidden way of gamification.
There is. So if you offer them special treatment, very basic engagement, then they're happy, right? So because you're giving a bit more the cashback percentage than the regular one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, sure.
So you have ability to gather more VIP service and products which you can offer to the customers, and they will be happy, I guess.
I think.
And the big prizes. Because we have seen giving away really luxurious cars, even villas or something like that, and they were happy to do so.
Yeah, I think you could use the data or the solutions for gamifications and use for regular players. Use them for VIPs and high rollers, but not treat them as something to offer the VIPs, but to treat them for you as a dashboard of what would be your next decision to offer them in a personal way. So you actually use gamifications to find the next best step, but you offer them personally. So yeah, you don't need to show all the time, but yeah, it's a different segment. So it's different.
I mean, that segment makes up for 75% of the turnover of a casino, and for Sportsbook, I'm pretty sure that it's also very close to that. So you have to be super careful when you are talking with this kind of segment. So I fully agree with you. Concierge service is the way to go. I was just at another big conference, and I was talking with one of those elite affiliates, and he said that the guys in Dubai, for example, you know, what they do right is even at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, there will be people who will answer the phone if one of their VIP clients is, you know, just having an issue or is feeling lonely and needs to talk to someone. And I think over this kind of conversation, you can actually find out if this person is even interested in any sorts of gamification, because gamification, obviously, you know,
You could just ask.
exactly, you know, would you like to do something else on the platform? Can we make it even more entertaining, more fun for you? But I think at the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure this is what we've encountered in Alexis when we were talking with other operators, there's always a slight hesitation. Is this gamification too much? Is it potentially irritating, alienating the customers? Hence why, you know, there's a reason why we can turn it off. But especially for this very high potent segment, making sure that they actually want this. And if they want this, it is by far the cheapest way to actually retain those kind of customers.
I've seen once I saw two VIPs being really triggered by each other, trying to beat each other in a tournament that they were playing. They kept betting over each other to make sure that they would beat the other one. So I think competition is something that's very strong with certain VIPs, at least to show off. At least if they know the other VIPs in the same tournament, so they can actually know that they're beating someone of their friends or something. But we're running short on time now, so let's finish up by maybe asking, what do you think the future will hold? Each one of you have your own idea about what you think the future will hold in these kind of areas.
I would say the hyper-personalization, because so we all agree that content is good, and the end user is demanding. So they have Netflix, they have other platforms that hyper-personalize, they talk with them, and they know their name, etc. So hyper-personalization will be the future. It will get even more and more personalized, but yeah, we should make sure, because there's a thin line being creepy and really, and that's the thing. So there's a very thin line, so you should test it out, see what works for you, and then apply it to your user journey and to your users.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Lasha, and also I'm gonna add that as our everyday life is becoming more and more digital, then we need more like more interaction to this kind of generally, not only in this industry, in any kind of product usage or everyday life. We need more interaction, more smart, and quick, experiences within the product. So, and at the same time, to have it very personalized, because at one dimension we don't like when we gather, or the companies gather our personal data, but on the other hand, we are really happy that when we're getting very personalized the offerings in any kind of industry. So it should be some kind of balance, personalization, and more interaction, because everything is more digital and more. Maybe for the next show we'll do something with AR and doing some stuff all together. So let's see.
Yeah, so trying to be original and not to agree with hyper-personalization, because I do agree, but let's say add something else. So based on what Tom was talking yesterday about esports, I believe what the future will bring will be a huge increase in micro markets. This is something that already happened, let's say with tennis, who will have the next ace on serve. This is what can and will happen with esports. So the next hit, the next kill, the next very, very small amounts of micro markets. So a sort of a casinoification of Sportsbook, because then you have high volatility bets, high amounts of stakes, you keep it live, because pre-market, pre-match is okay, yeah, but when you're live in the game, in a long, League of Legends game that lasts 90 minutes, but if you have a bet on this, and this micro market lasts 5 minutes, I think this is where we have data points, and then the gamification will get into trying to find the correct one to choose to offer, so it automatically offers some pre-prepared odds. So I think product-wise, this is where we will kind of pull the data collection and adjustment skills we use for gamification and offering personalized experience to offer personalized products to the customer. I think this is something that will happen within the next couple of years.
I would love for our industry to break out of this golden cage that we've created for ourselves because we are making money. This golden cage of UX and UI, all the sportsbook pages, they pretty much look the same, and I'm just waiting for someone. I'm not stealing your
I appreciate that, because that was our chat yesterday.
with that little switch, that switches the design from a colored Excel sheet to the Netflix or whatever. I would love to see that, because it is so hard nowadays to stand out as an operator. We are all selling the same apples, and the apples at 150 here are just as good as the apples at 150 at a different sportsbook, and we are all offering the same casino games, and just someone who has enough bravery, which means money in this case, who's just trying something else, just to be different, I would love to see that.
So put the coupon on the left-hand side.
There you go.
Make the logo bigger, put it more in the middle.
At the same time, it can be quite challenging for this kind of new UI UX, because everyone is getting used to
Everything's bet 365, but we're kind of nearing the end of exploitation phase.
Yeah, that's what I meant to explore. Yeah, it's a golden cage. We are all making money. I just hate the sentence, never change the running system, etc. But if we don't change it, at the end of the day, we're all competing for the same users.
There has to be a better way.
There has to be a better way, exactly. So.
Thank you. So, does anyone have any question for the panel? No? Then thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.